What's up, everybody? I've just recently finished Clair Obscur, this is how you say it, Expedition 33. And I thought I'd give my thoughts on it before I even jump into any of it. If you care at all, I give it probably a solid 8. It's between an 8 and an 8.5. It's a good game. I don't think it's as good as everybody out there is saying. Now on that note, though, I grew up on RPGs. I've loved them. I have played every Final Fantasy, uh, any other strange RPG out there, the Tale series, Lunar, you name it. I've probably played it. So I've always really enjoyed it. This one had caught my eye from the very beginning, and some of the high notes of it. It is a very pretty game. There are some kind of neat. They do some different things with the turn-based model, I guess you could say. Some people will like it, some people won't like it. I personally, I don't really like the all the button presses. I wish it would have been full turn based. It becomes more of like a almost a Dark Souls game. You got to really learn how to parry or dodge, and that would be okay. But it always felt off to me. Hey, I've played all of those too. I've played Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls. I'm big into those games. I've got really frustrated with those games, but I always felt when I got beat, unless it was one of them super cheesy bosses, that most of the time it was my fault. In here, it felt like I was hitting these presses, hitting the button presses at the right time, but it just wasn't registering. So I was really struggling with some of that. And then later on, now you can though just keep grinding and grinding, and your character will get so strong it doesn't really matter unless you want to go after those like optional bosses and stuff like that at the end. But I'm not gonna lie, by the time I got to the end, I did a couple of them. I was kind of burnt out with it because even though the world it is pretty neat looking, it's very dark. Like as you go through it, there are different environments and different things that they do, but it's still everything kind of feels the same. And again, it's more of a darker tone. The story you've probably heard, it's a very dark story. I was really interested in the story. When I play RPGs, that's a lot of times that's the main thing. I'm not playing them for skill based type stuff or multiplayer stuff. I want to get involved in the story. And at first, I was really involved in the story because I didn't know what was going on. But I'm not gonna lie, it changes. Many good RPGs will change. Something drastic happens, and when the story changes and you learn more about the worlds, it's kind of weird. I don't want to spoil anything, but it really took me out of it. It's almost like I didn't care anymore, and that's not good when I'm playing one of these types of games because you'll understand if you play it. It's almost like nothing matters. Now I know some people's gonna go, yeah, it matters when you look at it this way and you look at it that way, but the way my mindset is and view set is, it's almost like it didn't matter. Even the endings, there's two different endings, and both of them are kind of sad endings. The saddest ending to me actually makes the most sense. To me, it gives it more closure, even though, again, it's almost like nothing really mattered. So when you play a long game like this, you want to be want to be satisfied. Now that's nothing new in RPGs. The original Final Fantasy VII, it don't really end well if you understand it. But something with this game, I didn't really like where the story direction went. After things kind of changed. As far as the characters go, that they're just kind of your basic, RPG characters. That they got different skills and can do different things. And you can change those skills by giving them different attributes. You can make them super powerful. But you got your healer, you got your magic dealer. You got one of them. He takes on the attributes of the enemies you defeat. It's kind of a weird way how he does it, but he takes that. Everything in the game is weird. Like even the enemy designs, and the thing is, at first it's really cool because you're like, I ain't never seen anything like this before. But by the time you put 30 hours in, it's like, well, I've seen it before because I've seen it 1,000 times in this game. The enemy designs doesn't change much, but you got that character who takes on the attributes of his enemies. At first, I didn't really like him until you find out what he actually is. And this is weird. You can miss it. I could have easily missed what is Manoko was the character, who Manoko was, and there's even another character with him. and there's a spot where you're going through. You're in one of the mansions in a different type of world, and you actually see these characters from another point of view, and you see what they are. And I thought it was really cool because I don't know it it attached to me in a different way when I saw that, and I wanted to play with him a little more after that. I didn't catch it though till I saw it in a certain scene, and I don't want to ruin it, but it's weird. You can easily miss it. I'm talking about. I'm lucky I even saw it. I just happened to run up on it, but because a lot of these characters, there's different types of worlds running here, and you see some of them in another world or where they actually come from. But overall, I did enjoy the game. I missed a good overworld. It has an overworld, and you can get a airship like creature. It is a creature though. Again, it's weird instead of actually being a ship. I like the way Final Fantasy does it more, but they haven't done that in so long. It doesn't really matter. This is the best we can get. The overworld's almost too clunky though. It's hard to find things kind of when you are in the airship or in the boat or whatever you're doing. But I still enjoyed it and like going through it. But I don't know if this will be for everybody. I don't know if it's the RPG to get new people into RPGs just because of the learning curve with the parries and the dodging because it gets a little frustrating later on and there was an update about halfway through I was playing the game and it did seem like some of the parrying got a little bit easier, but it never felt right. And I know people say, well, hey, you can get good and all this stuff, but I got fairly decent, like I said, in the Demon Soul game and Elden Ring and things like that. I don't think it was user error. It just feels like the parry window is too small. And I know you can change the difficulties and do it different ways. So maybe I should have done that. But overall, I give it a solid 8. The world is beautiful. It's got good storytelling. The music, you've probably heard already, the music is amazing. But the story kind of let me down, and I did start to get bored by the end of it and the darkness and the sadness of everything. But if you enjoy RPGs and you kind of got that itch, now no, it ain't true turn based though because you have to have a little bit of skill as far as dodging and parrying, or it's going to be a lot harder for you. But once you get the hang of that a little bit, it does get easier. But if you're looking for just a straight old school turn-based RPG, this ain't it. This actually, the farther you get into it, it becomes more like, even though it's turn-based, it becomes more skill-based as with the blocking and the parrying, which I didn't like that as much. If I'm gonna get a good story RPG, I kind of like to I don't know. I like to soak the story in. Demon Souls and stuff like that. I know that story gets deep, but most of that's just a bunch of confusing stuff, and you just want to explore the world and look at things. And in this, once you've explored most of the world, you've kind of seen everything, even though they put different color palettes and things like that on it. But anyways, I went too long on this one. Again, I give it a solid 8. It's somewhere right in the middle of that teacher scale. It's a B. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great one.